Hey everyone, welcome to HR Tech Talks. I'm so glad to be here with you and looking forward to a new season for the show. I'm really excited to have it back and looking forward to some fun conversations. As you well know, if you're new to the show or if you've listened to it before, we talk to these different leaders who are providing talent, learning, HR technology to help all of you serve your employees better, to have better impact on the business, all of those kinds of things. And so it's such a joy for me to be able to have these discussions, hear from these leaders who are passionate about serving each of you through the tools that they're building. I'm excited to say as well this year that my co-host for a lot of the events that we do virtually, HR Summer School and others, George Rogers, he's going to be hosting some of the HR Tech Talks episodes going forward. So look forward to hearing his voice, seeing his face, getting his input on some of those tools and things, as well as he's joining the Lighthouse team officially this year. And that said, I'm going to be interviewing today someone from Cornerstone On Demand. Cornerstone was one of the 2022 HR Tech Awards winners in our program, and they're doing some incredible things when it comes to talent and learning and supporting the workforce. It's going to be a great conversation. So I'm going to bring Karthik up and we'll have this discussion. So welcome. Glad to have you with me, sir.
Hey, great to see you, Ben.
Absolutely.
Good to be here.
Hey, it's going to be a fun conversation. I'm excited about it. I've been looking forward to this. So before we get into some of the fun stuff that we're going to talk about today around how you're supporting employers and supporting the workforce, would you take a second and tell the audience a little more about who you are and what you do, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. I'm Karthik Suri. Like you drive a car, that's Karthik Suri. I'm the Chief Product Officer here at Cornerstone. And, it's probably one of the best jobs that anyone could have because the purpose is just spectacular. It is with the mission and vision of unleashing limitless potential in people to help them be extraordinary in world and in the society and at work. Helping run products and applying technology to solve really big problems in the world. It's just super fun.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's funny? Before we get to some of this stuff, I'll tell you a quick connection. One of our mutual friends, a couple of years ago, we were doing a big study on learning after COVID and trying to figure out what was happening there. And she said, "Hey, here's a question that I think would be interesting." And I was like, "Okay, I'll ask it as a favor to you, but I don't know what kind of stuff I'm going to get from it." And it ended up being an incredible find because what we found in the data was that a person who said their company helped to develop them, helped give them the right quantity and quality and types of training to help them feel like they were more comfortable and more capable at work, were much more likely to say their company helped them transition through the difficulties that COVID presented in their life and everything else. And so it's easy for me when I think about things like learning to think, oh, it's this really narrowly defined thing. But the workforce sees it as impacting a lot of other things. It makes them feel like they have more control over their life and the other things that are going on beyond just the day-to-day tasks they have.
100%, Ben. I think that's one of the fulcrums, right? Like, is that it starts off with learning, but it's learning, growth, development, tie back into performance, consuming the right content, upskilling, getting coaching, getting the right mentoring, and then attaining their career nirvana or actualization of their potential as they define it, right? Like, or not as someone else defines it. That makes it so much more meaningful. Obviously, it disseminates from this, the crux of the idea of learning, but it's way beyond that, and it's the overall talent experience, growth, mobility. That's exciting to people, right? Like, find, win, and keep is what the companies want, and develop, perform, and actualize or fulfillment is what people want. And being at the intersection of both is just a dream come true.
So if I was going to play the devil's advocate, I would say, well, that's really hard to do, right? It's really difficult to do, Karthik, and figure out how to do that for every one of our people. All of them are different. All of them are unique. All of them want their own things. But I still think those things you said right there, those themes overall, like developing, grow, and progress, like those things matter to everyone.
Yeah. If it were easy, I wouldn't be here. If it were easy, this wouldn't be fun. I said it's fun, not easy. So, we grind it out every day. Right? It has to be technologically superior. It has to be personally engaging and appealing. It has to be meaningful and purposeful, and it has to drive outcomes both for the employer and the employee. Otherwise, it's a fun project that that gets shelved. Right? The fact that we have 7,000 customers, 100 million users, every person, third of the planet every 3 seconds takes our courses, means that it's driving both personal fulfillment and business outcomes, and that's why it's hard. There are 4,000 cornerstones grinding at it every single day to make this vision of unleashing human potential, limitless potential, come to life. So by no means is this easy, Ben.
Yeah, if it was easy, they would have called me to do it. So it's much more difficult. That you're in the right place at the right time to take care of this. One of the things that I've been really excited about is working behind the scenes with the Cornerstone team on some research and really diving into talent mobility, because I know the product has come along to really support those sorts of things as we take the power out of the hands of just the leadership and make sure that the kind of democratize that, I guess, put the power into the hands of the individuals to say, what career do I want to have? What path do I want to take? What position is going to be a good fit for me long term, and where do I want to go? And talk about how Cornerstone is actually helping to support that type of thing within the workforce, because I think it's such an amazing shift away from we hold all the power, we hold all the decisions, to what do you think is best for you, and how can we enable that for you?
Yeah, no, totally. This I characterize this strategy as that you, me, and us, right? Like, so the employer side of things, the employee side of things, and together what they can accomplish both for themselves and for the business and for the society at large. At the center of this is our talent experience platform, the Cornerstone Talent Experience Platform. Let me quickly summarize this for you and then go specifically answer your question on how do people control their destiny. Or the talent experience platform is fundamentally bringing best-in-class, proven learning, performance, and core talent management capabilities, and using that to power a holistic, engaging, experiential people growth experiences, interconnected together by an intelligent tech fabric with AI-powered skills, context-aware content, and people intelligence data layer. All of this built on a extensible integration framework such that we are future-proofing our customers' investment, and we are sharing the road with the broader ecosystem. So this brings the holistic part of talent experience with the open nature of making it future ready is what that is fundamentally different about the talent experience platform. When I spoke about the people growth and experience layer, that engagement, that experiential portion, I'm going to be candid, right? HR tech traditionally has been a push system or a one-size-fits-all system. And what people are having is this cognitive dissonance between going home and having, amazing applications and playing Fortnite with their kids and, checking social media. And all of a sudden they're coming into enterprise technology that is a little bit of one-size-fits-all. Our acquisition of EdCast actually changed and switched the paradigm on both a combination of learning experience and opportunity marketplace. Learning experience is where people get to take control of their destiny, not only in terms of what is being assigned to them, which is training, but also in terms of a pull of self-directed learning for them to grow, perform, upskill, get coaching, get the right amount of help, all systematized beautifully with consumer grade experiences, right? We have 100 million people. A lot of consumer tech companies would vie for that kind of an audience. Then we need to take that very seriously and make sure that we are offering them experiential, social, connected, cohort-based learning capabilities that they so much enjoy and love, right? So, and we realize this more and more in this post-pandemic remote working world where you need that virtual coming together, you need that virtual experiential layer. And then it doesn't just stop at learning in its traditional sense. It's coaching, it's micro learning in the flow of work as what people are doing. All of this towards what? Towards growth, towards mobility, towards fulfillment, and towards attaining their limitless potential within that, which is what we call the opportunity marketplace. So fundamentally, it has an element of engagement, it's an element of experience, it's an element of education, it's an element of growth. So that's what we are excited about in calling the people growth experience layer.
Even the term opportunity marketplace sets it up for the right thing, I feel like, because the people who I've worked with in the past, right, they feel like they don't have enough control. They don't feel like that's in their domain. People make decisions about that. So saying, hey, this is not just more training. This is not just more stuff. We're giving you more responsibilities. So this is an opportunity for you to explore what sort of things are out there that really light your fire, that get you excited about coming to work, that those things that maybe you do better than anybody else, and you can really explore those more deeply and figure out where you want to specialize long term.
Yeah.
I think that's the connotation of that is an incredible thing.
Absolutely. And the interconnectedness of this is also a powerful piece, right? Like, so let's, just take a step back and
Hmm.
fundamentally see what businesses are trying to solve for and what people are trying to solve for themselves, right? Businesses want huge employee engagement, they want retention, and they want business outcomes and growth, etc. Right? On the people, they want growth, fulfillment, and an ability to realize their potential to the extent, like, they beyond the extent that they can even imagine within that. So opportunity marketplace actually is at the confluence of these two. Let me take engagement, for example. Our study found that about half, or 47% more precisely, of employees had statistically significant higher level of satisfaction when there is an internal mobility opportunity that is visible to them.
Hmm.
Conversely, let's go to the retention side of things. There is a 61% higher probability of attrition, all things being equal, of course, when no line of sight is provided for internal growth and mobility. And conversely, there is 90% of the people who quit said that if they had had any ability to control their destiny in terms of mobility, growth, advancement, they wouldn't have done so. Again, all things being equal. So these are pretty powerful statistics when someone's trying to engage, retain, and thereby drive business outcomes. And this is even more relevant today. Uncertain macroeconomic conditions, short planning cycles, skills shortage that is real and becoming more and more, like, the gap is widening quite a bit.
Hmm.
Tech bloat, right? I was talking to a CIO yesterday as a part of a joint CHRO CIO session, and she was mentioning that there are 369 applications just in this zip code of activity within that.
Wow.
They're like, can we even reduce 20 to 25 of these? That is thing number one. But on the other hand, like, the monolithic provisioning of a lot of these makes it, I don't want to say boring, but makes it non-flexible and non-future ready. So how do you balance both of those in such a way that it's holistic and it's interconnected, it's connected through a fabric, but at the same time, it also has the excitement, yet not the fragmentation of these onesie twosie solutions within that. And bringing that together and providing that and enabling that through an opportunity marketplace where people can find their career destination, their growth, their development, all the way from learning to performance, actually pre-learning, right? When you're a candidate to being hired, your first check-in with your manager, your performance, your learning experiences, so context-aware content that is served out to you, growth, development, and internal mobility, gigs, projects, mentorships. It's just amazing. It just has to work seamlessly well, just like you could have 2,000 apps here that all seamlessly work really well together. That's what we are solving for, and that's what we are on the verge of launching. I'm excited. This Q1, you're going to get a content studio, you're going to get an opportunity marketplace that's bringing this vision to reality, and the beta testing is going spectacularly well.
Again, I keep going back and forth between my experiences running an HR team and my experience as an employee. And I think the employees don't think about it the way we do typically, right? They don't stop saying, okay, now it's time to develop myself. Okay, now it's time for performance. No, they're just going through their day. But to say we have the ability to hook into all these different important points in an employee's life and their life cycle and help enable them, help guide them, help support them. Even just saying, hey, we're going to be able to track some of these things that are happening, because right now it's all just happening out in the ether, and we don't have any idea of what your most exciting moments are from a learning perspective until you get some sort of learning experience platform in the mix, right? Or like all these kinds of things. That just excites me to think about all the projects that are happening that are just going on right now, but now having them within the platform as a gig or something else, being able to say, hey, this is the kind of thing that this person keeps going back to over and over again.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to, there's a new role opening up. Maybe we should offer that position to them because they've already started showing some interest in that, showing some skill at that. Let's see if this is the right fit for that person. Even if they're not 100% there, they're already leaning that direction. They know the company, they're less risk. There's a lot of benefits to the company there as well.
Totally, Ben. There are three things that you mentioned. You mentioned several things. The three that I want to distill out, because that's really important. One is, I think you and I were sharing this quote when we were talking to each other as our favorite quotes, right? Like, when technology is advanced enough, it's indistinguishable from magic. Arthur C. Clarke, right?
Yes.
We were geeking out about that.
Yes.
So point number one, going back to your point that, like, people need to feel individualized. People need to feel that statistically n of one, right? Sample size of one. Are they tailoring this experience for me in my context, in my flow of work? Or is this some blast out radio station that plays the music that they want to play whenever they want to play? So step number one is having an integrated tech fabric, which is a big part of that personalization experience that has consented data of 100 plus million profiles, highly AI powered with machine learning capabilities that actually powers the skills and the skills ontology that actually then personalizes the person to the position. And then context aware content, right? Like what as the adage goes, right? When a fruit farmer searches for apple and when a techie searches for apple, your results cannot be the same. So in that particular context, if I am frustrated on getting a circular reference on my Excel, the training that I want to have, that micro learning, is going to be vitally different from when a sales rep is about to step out of their car, they're on their app, Salesforce app, or any in Slack, whatever, and they want to quickly look at pricing or negotiation or a product pitch for 2 to 3 minutes as micro learning. Those are all the contexts that we need to be aware of, and having this profile experience, the skills ontology with 200 million plus data points that are fed into that, and context aware content that is curated, discovered, specific to that, what is happening at that point in time, makes it personalized. But this all has to be in a consumable user experience, that consumer grade, delightful. Simplicity is sophistication. So that kind of a human-centered design that wraps all of this up together will serve the experience that you exactly spoke about, so that people are not like forced to learn, but it's just natural. It's consequential. It drives outcome for themselves. It drives outcome for the company.
Yeah, excellent. And in those cases, like you're talking about, those examples, it's contextual as well, right? It's right there where they need it, when they need it.
Yeah, and then the second piece to this in the contextuality is also, we found that 80% of the people have said that they would like in their career opportunity growth. You mentioned coaching, mentoring, finding gigs or projects rather than like your next job within the company. It could be any such things as the world is evolving into different future of work models. 80% of the people surveyed said that they would want some kind of a self-service technology that is personalized for them to be in a position to interact before having a live conversation. And I found that fascinating because generally, when e-commerce and physical commerce started coming together, the multimodality started coming through. So I was starting to think, why is it the scenario within that, right? Like, previously growing up in the business era in the 90s, I would just go talk to my boss about career pathing, etc. There is a big DEI component to this. Not everyone is predisposed or pre-wired the same way to have aggressive conversations, control their destiny. They want to process it differently, right? Like your DISC, your MBTI, your HBDI profile, whether you're an underrepresented minority that feels or not feels empowered in the culture of the broader organization, whether you have that kind of a support and willingness. Not all managers are created equal, and some are much better. So the democratization of this is fairly critical, and technology can do that. As technology has democratized commerce, technology has democratized in welcoming a new era of healthcare, technology has democratized moving and managing money. So democratization of talent development, growth, and opportunity is happening live in front of us, and we are thrilled to be a part of pioneers in that journey in creating and hence naming it the opportunity marketplace.
Yeah, I'll tell you that one of the stats that stood out to me in the new study we just finished was that women were 50% more likely than men to say they did not have visibility into career opportunities, right? And it's because in some cases they're not sure about talking to someone, they're not sure about that conversation with their manager. I've had that conversation in the past, and once you have it, you can't unhave it. So,
right.
As you said, depending on how well and receptive that manager is to that conversation, that could be the best conversation you have all week. Yep. Or the one that you decide, okay, it's time for me to leave because
100%. And this affects mental health. This affects psychological safety. This affects perception issues. This affects imposter syndrome, triggers, etc. around this, right? So that is where I think we need to keep it human, and ironically, technology can help us keep it human.
Yes, for sure. Okay, goodness, I'm enjoying this so much. I'm taking notes over here. I'm getting a lot of good ideas. One of the things I want to throw out there is you mentioned this earlier on the business side, but you talked about things like retention. Right? I know engagement's been a conversation for a long time. It's not new to anybody listening in to this episode, but those sorts of outcomes, every single piece of research we've ever done, and a lot of the other ones that I can find out there, all of them point to development, growth, the things that you and I are discussing today.
Right.
Those are the key outcomes of having a workforce that is self-developing, that has a chance to grow, that we're giving the opportunities and the visibility in an equitable way. We're doing those things. People want to stay. They want to perform. I call it the compound interest of a great employee. They stick around longer. They perform better. They tell others to come join them because they're so excited about doing the work. Like, that's a great place to be. And for those companies that are struggling, saying, well, how do we get people to come here? Do really well by this for your existing and workforce, and that's going to pay dividends over the long haul.
200%. That's why outcome tracking becomes very important, right? Like, so again, we're doing this with a purpose to help employers deliver outcomes by unleashing the potential of their employees. So there's no better win-win case than this. And there are two things that need to happen, right? Like, one is the time to value has to be pretty rapid. And then the value or the magnitude has to be worth it. So that is the business case from an employer perspective. From an employee perspective, you should have all of the things that you would want in a career, starting off with purpose, fulfillment, happiness, growth, development, if that's what you want within this, and a seamless way of attaining that. And this intersection of these two, right, like with specific case studies of where retention has improved, time to strategic initiatives have shrunk across different verticals. In some cases, some of our customers, particularly on the pharma side, the production stops if certain learning or training does not happen. That is the regulatory side of things. On the other hand, they also have growth and development of people that we can track in terms of career fulfillment. So there are business outcomes, be it on the compliance side, be it on the retention side, be it on the time to fill, right, certain critical roles by upskilling existing workforce that you have and backfilling them because one set of skills may be more easily available than the other. All of these point to business outcomes while also satisfying growth and fulfillment.
I have countless stories I've collected over the years from banking to consulting, all these different companies where skills availability, if you want to call it that, where you're talking about here, we can take this action as a business or not. In the pharma example you gave, because we have the right skills in the right place at the right time. If we do not have that, it's not just a, well, darn, we'll get it next time. But no, this is costing us something every single minute, every hour we don't have these things taken care of, every hour we haven't made this a priority, it's impacting us in a negative way. And when you get to that level of detail and that level of specificity with your learning programs, that creates some visibility at the leadership level. Obviously, there's some responsibility there, but it creates the opportunity to say, hey, look, this isn't just a nice to have. This is a true critical differentiator for us that helps us to compete and perform as a business by leveling up each one of our people and rolling that up cumulatively. So that excites me.
Absolutely. One example is one particular logistical company, great customers of ours, moving away from fossil fuel vehicles to electric vehicles. That needs a complete rethinking, reimagining of how people are trained and what are the maintenance attributes as people start using those, right? So it's spectacularly different. Number one. Another side is someone going through a wave of retirement that is coming, that's going to hit them, and a lot of institutional knowledge that could potentially go away with the people as they leave the workforce within that. That is another area that you have to look around the curve to make sure that you're planning for that on an ongoing basis. And then the third is short cycle businesses, right? Like with skills shortages, the planning cycles are also shortening within that. So how do you have the flexibility to actually have risk pooling and people pooling wherever possible for you to make sure that your assets, which is your people, are deployed in the absolute high value things that need to be done at any given point in time, while also using that as a career paving path for those specific people. So those are the three live examples that I have come out of the last 2 weeks talking to my customers who are delighted about some of the stuff that is happening in the wide HR tech space, not just Cornerstone.
Goodness, wow. I could talk about this stuff all day with you. I'm enjoying this so much, but I know that we have a limited amount of time for this conversation. So if someone wants to learn more about what the Cornerstone team has been up to, the problems you're solving, some of the things you're talking about here, what's the best way for them to follow up or learn more?
Look, the best is to go to cornerstoneondemand.com. We have a plethora of assets available there for you to understand specifically what you're trying for, so that and how our solutions come together. Obviously, we have social media, our Twitter handle for Cornerstone On Demand, Instagram, LinkedIn pages. Personally, I am at Karthik Suri on LinkedIn. Happy to answer any questions, but fundamentally, cornerstoneondemand.com is the best spot to learn specifically about our talent experience platform and our suite of solutions that help unlock limitless potential in people to help them be extraordinary in their workforce and in society. Thank you so much, Ben. This was a pleasure.
Hey, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, sir.
Likewise. Take care, man.
All right. So everybody else out there, I hope you enjoyed the episode today. Got some good notes. Again, you got the link there at the end, cornerstoneondemand.com, if you want to learn more about what the team is up to. I'll make sure and get Karthik's link to his LinkedIn profile into the show notes for this episode, so you can check that out. Click over, tell him you heard about him on the show, follow him. As you can tell, he is passionate about helping employers to do this well, and I'm so excited that he's on their team over there. Again, welcome to the new season of HR Tech Talks. I'm glad to be here with all of you and looking forward to the next episode as well. Have a good one.